GQ, Those People Entertainment. I must admit that Phase 2 wasn't one of my favorite phases to watch. Had a lot of misfires. Iron Man 3 wasn't really crazy about it. I love the special effects. I love the scene that he had where he was jumping from suit to suit while he was fighting. But for the most part, this wasn't really one of my favorite movies. It was all over the place for me. And to be honest with you, nothing in Iron Man 3 has anything to do with the grand MCU narrative. It had nothing about the Infinity Stones, nothing about the other characters. So if you missed this film, you're not really missing much when it comes to what's really going on with everybody. Thor: The Dark World. Let's just say I'm not going to waste my time with foolishness. Captain America, I'm joking. All right, let me talk about Thor: The Dark World just briefly before I move on to the next film. You kind of had to see this only to understand what the Reality Stone was and what it could do. Other than that, did not enjoy this film at all. I don't know what they were thinking in this film, man. It just... Moving on. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, I have to say that Captain America: The Winter Soldier is by far my favorite film in Phase 2. Now, I know I just said that Phase 2 wasn't really that great, so it doesn't really say much. But at the same time, I have to say that this is one of my favorite MCU films, period. It was just good. I don't know. I can't really think of anything that I disliked about the Winter Soldier. He's kind of trying to find his place in the world right now, trying to find his purpose. He's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. now, and things aren't what they seem. It was a political thriller, lots of action, and I think Marvel did an extremely good job fusing genres. They took political thriller and a comic book film, merged it into one, and it was seamless. And I loved every single minute of the film. Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy to me was a wild card because I wasn't familiar with these characters. And I feel like it was out of left field. I thought this was going to be Marvel's first flop because nobody knew who they were. Well, only the diehard comic readers knew who they were. I didn't. Not gonna lie to you. And I dabble in the comics, but I'm more so into the shows. I do my research online on Marvel.com. So that's how I know about a lot of these characters. But Guardians of the Galaxy, I vaguely knew about. But I did have a good time watching the film. And this movie is necessary because you had to discover the relationship between Thanos and his two daughters, Nebula and Gamora. You also get to find out about the Power Stone and what the Power Stone does. So, yeah, this movie is definitely a watch for if you want to know what the Power Stone does in the grand scheme of things. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Okay, to me it wasn't as good as the first Avengers. Special effects, visual effects, everything was great. Had some cool moments. I personally like the lifting Thor's hammer scene, the party scene that they had. I truly enjoyed that. And I liked the part where Vision picked it up and everybody just froze. Like, that was cool. I didn't understand the point of having Quicksilver. There had to have been some reason, because Marvel has a habit of dropping little things here and there in the films that may seem like no big deal at that particular time, and then fast forward you find out, oh, perfect example of this is when you watch Iron Man 2 and Nick Fury is talking to Tony Stark, and they have a map in the background with like Africa with S.H.I.E.L.D. pinpointing a location there, and then they had like one in the middle of the ocean. You look at that during the time of Iron Man 2 and you think nothing of it. Then fast forward, you find out that the place in Africa that S.H.I.E.L.D. is following is Wakanda, home of the Black Panther. We'll get to that. But once again, Quicksilver didn't understand the point besides him saving Hawkeye, but we'll see what happens. Age of Ultron was all right. Ant-Man. Ant-Man was an extremely pleasant surprise because my expectations were super low for this film, and I found myself thoroughly enjoying the movie. I think the Ant-Man movies exist to kind of lighten up the mood after a major Avengers event. Ant-Man came after Age of Ultron. A lot of the stuff that happened in that movie was pretty heavy. So why not lighten up the mood with Ant-Man and his comedic shenanigans? All right, let's move on to Phase 3.